just when you think you know, you have no idea. This is a diary of, I'm just kidding. Does anyone remember that show? Just when you think you have things figured out, there is so much more to it. So you're going to want to stick to the end. No podcast in the world is doing anything like this at the moment. And I am still so mind fucked about that. We are changing the way podcasts are done, specifically those that are solo and small, just like me. Welcome to UNSHUT, a place where if at any point you feel like you need to shut the up, don't. Happy Monday, everyone. Welcome to what's probably the most important Monday of my entire podcasting career. As much as I could say that I have been looking forward to this for a really long time, I have also been avoiding it for a really long time, which we'll talk about that a little bit more later because I have been psyching myself out. This is probably the most important episode I have ever released, probably because it's also the most vulnerable and the most personal any episode has ever been, specifically a solo episode. So I just want to kick things off by saying thank you so much for being here. Whether you are new, whether you've been a day one, thank you so much because this is so important to me and I am so excited to share it with you guys. It's been a huge secret I've been keeping for a minute and I am so excited to finally share this big piece of what's become my life with you all. But before I reveal that big secret, I want to talk a little bit about this process because one of the biggest lessons that I have learned is that sometimes we rob ourselves of certain experiences because we view those experiences with so much fear. And when I tell you that I have had the opportunity to share this secret with everyone for a hot minute, but I didn't because I have been living in this fear of true rejection, of what true rejection is going to look like for me. I felt the need to protect myself from this one because it's the most vulnerable decision I have ever made on the show to date. So I think it's also because this one solely relies on myself. And I think I felt that early on in the beginning, right? Like if the show was a success, it was because of me. If the show flopped, it was because of me. So I have felt that pressure of it solely relying on me and on my shoulders since the beginning. But this one's a little bit more exposing. This one's a little bit more telling. This one's a little bit more personal. And so I think it's because of that reason I relived that fear, but it was magnified in a way that I didn't think it would be possible, and it caught me so off guard. And so the biggest lesson here is that sometimes we rob ourselves of these joys because we are looking at them through the glasses of fear. And I want to remind everyone that it's okay to do that. It's okay to let your fear take over, but it's also okay for you to finally face that fear and tell yourself, what the fuck was I doing? Why did I do that? Why did my mind immediately go there? And I think that one of the healthiest things you can do is remind yourself that insecurities are always going to be there. You cannot just shut them off and ignore them and pretend like they're not there, but we do have to address them. And today I am addressing that fear. I am addressing that insecurity because as much as I've been vocal with all of you guys throughout this entire process, I cannot stop repeating myself. This is the most vulnerable I have ever been. And I'm getting ready to play a video that I was a little bit hesitant to sharing on here because again, I feel so stripped. I feel so naked and I have never experienced that in this manner before. This is truly the first time where my internal panic has beat me for weeks, for months. And so with all that being said, I have kept this secret with just a small hand of people. And to them, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for not making me feel so dumb in regards to when is it coming out? When are you doing this? And pushing me. I don't think you guys will ever truly know how amazing it has been to have just allowed me the freedom to pursue this the way I've wanted to pursue it. And I know there's a couple of you guys watching who, trust me, I've been thinking of this entire time. Every time that I would tell you, I'm announcing it, I'm announcing it, I'm putting it out, and then I wouldn't. And I always kept thinking how you probably think I'm the biggest fucking liar in the world. And that's something that also was eating me alive. It's something that I obviously ignored because I knew that my own timing was going to come, but it sucked. It sucked having to look at the people that knew about this secret and I would tell them something and then not do anything. I felt like a liar, and that's not who I am. This project alone is very telling on its own on how I stick to my word. I pull the trigger, I try to get shit done, but you've now also seen this part of me that has shied away a little bit. And I just want to say thank you so much for giving me the freedom to come to these terms on my own and not pushing me or making me feel bad for not pulling the trigger on announcing this. I really needed that. I really needed that time to grow. And so, to those that have been involved in this journey with this announcement, I want to say thank you truly from the bottom of my heart because I needed that space to grow. And holy fuck, we are here and I am so excited. Still can't believe I took this long to do this, but you know what? Will not live in that past, will not live in that moment. I will only live in today and moving forward. So much is just coming to fruition in a way that I could have only hoped, but now it's truly happening. And I realized that a lot of that reality was not just hovering over me like a little cloud waiting for it to happen. It was literally in the palm of my hand. And so, with that being said, you guys, I am super excited to share this with you guys. I am going to be playing a video so that I can share this big announcement, and then I'm going to talk about it a little bit more and deep dive into the details of it. But I am so excited, and I want you guys to keep this in mind. Just when you think you know, you have no idea. This is a diary of, I'm just kidding. Does anyone remember that show? For those who aren't old enough, there was a show on MTV back in the day that was like, you think you know, but you have no idea. This is a diary of. Anyway, let me focus again. I want you guys to keep that in mind. Just when you think you have things figured out, there is so much more to it. So you're going to want to stick to the end because we have just a little bit more to talk about and we'll go from there. I am going to roll that clip. I am stalling a little bit because I am cringing at that clip. You're about to see me without a hat, standing up, looking beat as fuck. My hairline's a mess. I look fat as fuck. I hate everything about this video. There's a reason why I stick to these angles so that you guys can see my chiseled cheekbones and my angle in this way, not in the angle I'm about to show you, but we're all about showing the journey, and I am too excited to not play it and try to take a different, easy way out of it. Not doing that. I'm about to play it. Thank you guys so much for watching and being here. Hope you guys enjoy it. I cannot wait to talk more about it when that clip is done playing. So, enjoy. Not gonna lie, I have paced back and forth for the past maybe 20 minutes trying to figure out this fucking camera and this angle because I'm not used to standing up or doing it so zoomed out like this. Also, I've practiced pretending to open the boxes so I can see what I look like, and I realized that my hairline, once I look down, looks fucking beat as fuck, okay? So I don't know why I am freaking out so much, but it's not even just about the video. It's because opening these is such a big deal for me. If only you guys could feel my hands. They are soaked. I am so panicky right now. I don't even know who I am in this very moment, but I'm super excited to share this experience with you guys, and let's open these boxes. And I've never done this before. I've never done like an unboxing type of thing. I've done some shitty ones, but I kind of just pretended, you know what I mean? Like I had already seen what I was getting at the store. This is different. So let's just do it. Okay. Fuck. This is empty. Oh my gosh, I'm freaking out. I'm shaking so bad. It's crazy. I don't think I've ever been so nervous to unbox a package in my life. Oh my gosh. This is crazy. I am shaking, you guys. Like my hands are shaking, my knees are unbuckling, and I'm trying so hard not to cry in front of a camera because I never wanted to be that person, but I just can't help but to feel fidgety and shaky, and part of me wants to throw up. Like I almost just want to stop recording. And honestly, crying with a fuck ton of Botox is so ugly, so I can't do it. It's so beautiful. I'm so excited. I cannot believe this is real life right now. This is crazy. This is crazy. It's so beautiful. In my writing, Matt, I know you're going to appreciate this. It did not get cut. It's like perfect. We were a little worried that the writing was going to get cut, and they had also said that there could be a chance that some of the pictures were going to be cut, but it fits so perfectly. And this is absolutely insane. Holding it is absolutely insane. The back is so stunning. Like, I knew I was going to feel a fuck ton of emotion, but I think it's because there's this like fear living inside of me of like, am I creating the most stupidest idea ever? I know I love it so much, and I think that's the point, right? I think that's the point of sharing your art, is that you believe in it, right? It's crazy because like I have never felt this insecure in my life. I've always been this like trooper, this like secure person that like, regardless of how I felt about my weight or what I looked like I always just trooped along. And for the first time, something that excites me is also something that's making me want to hide. Like, this is making me wish that I never would have done this venture, that I never would have started. And yet somehow I am living the best parts of my life right now because I am enjoying this so much. And I've never experienced that feeling before. I've been fearful before, but I've never felt it coexist like this. Being afraid, but yet wanting to run. And even though I feel that way almost on a weekly basis on the show, you know, booking guests and dealing with rejection and shit, this is so different. This is so different because I feel like this is just so personal. And just looking at it, it's crazy. It even has like the country I was born in. You know, I was born in Guatemala, and now I'm here in the US trying to make something out of my life. You know, this is just absolutely beautiful, you guys. I am so excited to share this with you guys. Cannot wait for you guys to read the titles in the back. They're so fucking hilarious. This is just crazy. I kind of want to open it and see the inside. Okay, I think I'm ready to move on and do it. I think I just need to do it. How do you even open this? Like, how do I open all my fucking vinyls without a knife? They should come up with a little peel thing, because I don't want to cut it. This one's obviously going to go to a family member because I'm opening it. So if there was ever a moment where you guys can say you saw me not know how to fucking act because I'm so nervous, this is it. Oh my gosh, it's so crazy. You guys, I cannot believe this is real life. And I'm so excited to see what the insides look like. And it's 2 of them. Oh, that's the fun one. That is so fucking cool. This is crazy. I cannot believe it. It is absolutely beautiful. Oh my gosh. This is so stunning. I cannot believe, like, how? This is just so pretty, and all of them are going to be different colors too, so they're all like mystery and random, so you don't know what colors you're going to get until you order. So this is so cool. This just turned out to look way better than I thought. Please handle with care, you guys, because these are just amazing. Got the scary part out of the way. These are it. This is it. And this is just the fucking beginning. This is just the beginning. There is a big secret in here that I cannot wait to share with everyone, because when I tell you that part of the biggest terrifying feeling about this entire experience is that I'm literally leaping into something that's just not guaranteed, something that's crazy, and something that doesn't have instructions, something that doesn't come with how to do it, which is crazy. Big secret in here. This is just secret number 1. This is just the beginning. This is literally just the beginning. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope that you guys can support this project. I know that so many people are going to be doubtful. So many people are going to say, oh my gosh, it's not even that of a unique idea. I know that creating other people having opinions is being on the right track. I know it. I feel like there's just so much proof of that with any creative out there. Once you start to get this wave of people having negative or nice things to say, or all of a sudden showing support when they didn't, that's where the traction starts. That's where the traction is. And this is that. I can feel it. And if this becomes the biggest flop of my life, I will be okay with that, because at least I can say I did it. So can't wait for you guys to see this in person. For those that are going to order, the link is going to be live once this episode airs. Today is Thursday, and I am airing this episode and this announcement on Monday. So, just to give further context of how fucking long I waited to open these, don't rob yourself of your joy based out of fear. Huge lesson to be taught here. I have allowed these to sit in my closet because I refused to face that joy because I was so insecure. And therefore, all those months of these just sitting in these boxes because I robbed myself. Don't do it. Take it from me. Don't do it. What I felt today was everything, and I wouldn't trade that feeling for anything else in this world. I am so glad I did this. I hope you guys enjoy these. Thank you so much for watching and being a part of this journey with me. Thank you so much. So, what did you guys think? Isn't it so crazy? And now I do want to go on record and say I am not the first person in the world to do a spoken word record. During this process, I learned that comedians back in the 60s or 70s, no one quote me on that, they have put some of their sets on vinyl records before. So that was a very common thing to do back in the day. However, no podcast in the world is doing anything like this at the moment. And I am still so mind fucked about that because you would think that this is such a simple idea, right? Like you would think that when it comes to merge, podcasts, specifically the ones that work with a lot of musicians the way I do, would have something like this, right? No, these aren't very easy to find. Some have done projects similar, but no one has done a project like mine. And I think that that is the craziest thing ever. And so I want to take you back into how this idea came to life. It was October of 2024, okay? Almost an entire fucking year, you guys, okay? But it was October of 2024. I am lounging on the couch. I am watching a documentary, and out of nowhere, I am just thinking about the show. What's my next move? What is something that I am going to do? Keep in mind, this is something that had been lingering in the back of my mind for a minute because the reality of it is that I have known from the very beginning that Zoom calls weren't going to be sustainable for the show, right? Like I can't just do Zoom calls for the next 10 years. That's crazy. So it's something that had always been in the back of my mind. And in the past, people have asked, are you going to do hats with your mouth? With my mouth. Sorry. People have asked, are you going to do hats with the logo or with the word UNSHUT on it? Or, hey, are you going to be doing any shirts or hoodies or anything like that? And for some reason, it just didn't feel natural to be like, yeah, one day I'll do it, one day I'll do it. Now, obviously, I have considered, right? Because I think merch is really cool. I'm a huge merch collector with a lot of the people that I work with, specifically if they have vinyls. I am just a vinyl collector. I've talked about this on episodes before. I am just a vinyl lover through and through. However, when it came to something for me, I just kind of brushed it off. It just wasn't something that was like super urgent to me until one night I am just on my couch laying down. I've got a documentary playing, and all of a sudden I get this idea about, hey, you should do a vinyl collection of the show. And so immediately I pause the documentary, I get my phone, and I start to Google podcasting on vinyl records, and I couldn't find anything. I basically came down to the conclusion that the idea that I had in my head was not what was out there, was something that I couldn't find anything on the internet of. And so to give fuller context, the vinyls that I am launching today, they are unedited, unreleased audio clips from the show. So these are going to be clips that no one's ever heard on the show, and also some of my favorite moments on the show. So some clips, yes, you've heard, but I'm bringing back some of my favorites, but there are some clips on there that I've never aired before, some unedited clips as well. But without getting super sidetracked, this again is just something that I couldn't find anything on the internet. I couldn't find anything. And so immediately I got this like jittery bug in my stomach that was just like, fucking do it. This is such a cool idea. But what the fuck do I know about vinyls, right? I am not a musician. I don't know anything. I didn't even know that vinyl was called pressing on vinyl. I knew nothing. I just knew that I loved them. And so immediately I tell my partner, hey, I just came up with the craziest idea. Can I share it with you? I tell him, and he's like, hell yeah, I think that's super cool. But we leave it at that. No brainstorming, no nothing. I get back on the couch, and again, I am just researching, right? Because at this point, I'm thinking, am I fucking dumb? Like, is this something that's just that bad of an idea that no one's done? Right? So immediately you start to kind of second guess yourself, right? It's exactly what I was doing. But then something kind of came over me and told me, just do it. What's the worst that can happen? Even if no one's done it because it's that much of a terrible idea, fucking do it anyway. And so the next morning, I immediately started to brainstorm. Who do I need? What do I need? So this is where it starts to get kind of exciting for me because I had done a very special episode with Graham from Tokyo Police Club. And during my prepping for this interview, I had noticed that he collabed on Instagram with a vinyl printing company out in Toronto. And that memory of that randomly came to me that morning. So I took down the information, the name of that company from Instagram, and I just kept it in my back pocket, but immediately started to brainstorm, what do I need for this, right? So I came up with a list of two things. I need someone to help me with audio, and I need someone to help me with artwork. I remembered that from my connection with doing an episode with Nightbreakers, one of the band members on there was also a producer. He did a lot of mixing and producing, and so I sent him a DM on Instagram and was like, hey, I've got an idea I want to run by you. Are you available for a quick chat or something like that, right? I don't remember how, but I slid into his DMs and was like, hey, let's talk. And keep in mind, this is still the morning after this idea. I get in contact with Dan from the Nightbreakers. He's the one with the fucking cool glasses, okay? And I hop on a Zoom call with him to pitch this idea to him, right? Because he had experience with producing and mixing, I figured he would know what the process would be like for a vinyl. So he became one of the biggest puzzle pieces to this entire project because I didn't know anything about taking clips, putting them together, exporting them in a type of file, and submit that to the vinyl company. That was something that, again, what do I know? I know nothing about this process, right? Immediately, this became such a great connection for me because now he's a credited producer on this vinyl with me because he helped me out with the audio. And I just think it's the coolest thing ever. But I also think it's so cool that the company I ended up going with was the company that Tokyo Police Club used for their vinyls because I called them, asked them for help, said, hey, this is my first time doing something like this. And keep in mind, this is a pretty big vinyl printing company based out in Toronto, okay? They're huge. And so their response to me was, we've never heard of anything like this. We would love to be a part of it. And so they were great. They were such a big help. They were so patient with me during this entire process. So right off the bat, huge shout out to Dan from Nightbreakers. Thank you. Thank you so much for one, believing in the idea, but two, being in my corner when this idea was coming to life because I don't know that I would have been able to pursue the idea had you have not believed in the idea to begin with. You were the first person that I pitched this idea to. And so the fact that you thought that it was so worthy of coming along on the ride for meant everything to me. It only sparked more of a fuel underneath my ass to really pursue it and to think outside of the box. And so for that, thank you so much. We cannot talk about this project without talking about the artwork of the vinyl, okay? And this is another really cool story for me because it's another full circle on its own. I'm going to take you guys back to an episode I did with Walker of Your Neighbors. Super cool dude. Absolutely love his music. But something that he had done that really stood out to me was releasing these vinyl collections for his music, obviously. And the artwork was just absolutely stunning. But I had also noticed that there was such cohesiveness with the artwork that was on his vinyls and also on the posters for some of the shows or concerts or tours that he had done. And so that was something that was just embedded in my memory. I remember just very vividly being so in awe with the cohesiveness of the artwork. And so again, this is why I believe in being so intuitive with everything that you do, because during this time, he posted a post shouting out the person that did all of his cover artwork. And so immediately I'm like, boom, I've got to click on that and I've got to save it. And then I've got to reach out once I get some of my ducks in order and see if he would be willing to work with me. And so that is exactly what I did. Huge shout out to Matthew from OP6. Hopefully I used the right one, Matt. So sorry if I didn't. But one of my favorite parts about working with Matthew on the cover art was how collaborative it was. He took the ideas that I had written down and turned them into visual masterpiece. I mean, there is no way I could have ever really seen this cover art completely on my own. So the ability to be able to take my notes and turn them into something so visual, something so incredible was absolutely mind-blowing to me. And to this day has become one of my favorite parts about this project because this is exactly what I wanted them to be. I wanted them to be art pieces. I wanted people to collect them even if they didn't listen to vinyl records. There are some records that I have that I only collected because of how amazing they looked, because to me they were art pieces. And so to be able to do that with my own project with someone like Matt has truly been one of the most rewarding feelings ever. And I'm super excited for those that get the vinyl because you're going to see the titles in the back are images that are in the front cover just in their own way, translated in their own form. And so I think that that's something that excites me so much because we literally created something that you can fucking stare at, go back and forth, look at the title, see if you can find the image in the front. Some of them will just speak on its own. Some of them are so fucking clever. Some of them are hidden. It's so incredible. And it's something that to this day, like it gives me goosebumps because that is what I wanted for this piece, this collectible item, something that's very artsy fartsy and so unique. And I feel like it's also very me. It's very quirky. It's very edgy, but colorful. And he really took my personality and my aesthetic of the show and who I am as a host and put it into art form. And I cannot explain it. It's the coolest thing ever. And so super excited for you guys to be able to hold it, to have this tangible piece of art that is so personal to me. And so with that being said, Dan, Matt, thank you so much because without the two of you, this project would have never come to life the way it did. And to me, it is the most rewarding feeling to know that because I took this leap of faith into a show that I had been so scared to launch for so many years. I always wanted to do this, but I just didn't do it because I didn't want to be in front of a camera. And finally facing that fear and doing it led me to you both. And because of that, this will truly forever be one of the most rewarding and humbling experiences of my life because I do not believe that meeting people is just meeting people. I think that meeting people is something so meaningful. And I think that there is so much power in collaborating with some of the people that we cross paths with. And so I'm so grateful that we were able to do that. So thank you so much for being a part of it. The last thing I want to talk about with you guys real quick is I had journaled some notes that I want to read to you guys real quick, okay? This is what these vinyls mean to me. Proof that you can have a podcast and monetize without a network. This one is so personal to me because as some of you guys know, I had a couple of network deals that fell through and I was shattered. I really thought, there goes my opportunity. I will never be able to make a mark in this small little industry of podcasting, even though it's not small at all, but I was feeling so hopeless. I want to be proof that there are so many ways to think outside of the box to be able to monetize something like a small show. My show is so small, but I've been saying this for a minute now. It's mighty and it is growing, and this is why, okay? I also wrote down a common theme for me has been pursuing this show without having viral success. I am not ashamed to admit that I have not had viral success. My following numbers on social media platforms like TikTok and Instagram, they have not blown up. I haven't received this like loads of followers that came from launching this show. And where a lot of people would find that devastating or find that to be a little bit discouraging, for me, it has only pushed me even more because I've used other platforms where I did have a little bit of success, something like Spotify. I think a lot of you guys know that I am now currently in 36 countries on Spotify alone. Someone's got to listen to me for over an hour, okay, in order for me to get that. And so it's a big deal for me. And so you know what, where I am not getting success on a platform like TikTok or Instagram, I do have Spotify that has been pushing my shit since the beginning. And I am forever, ever grateful about that. But I want this to be proof of that. You don't need virality to do that. Just like I haven't needed virality to have guests that have been Grammy nominated, Grammy winning, multi-platinum, comedians, actors, musicians, indie bands. Didn't need any of it to have them. My personality, my approach, my show concept was enough. And I want that to be proof to people that just what you bring to the table alone is enough. You don't need any of that shit to be able to be quote unquote successful at something like running a small podcast, especially when it's just a solo podcast, okay? The next thing I have on here, which is something I've also talked talked about already, is proof that you can think outside of the box to stand out. These vinyls mean that to me. I want people to look at them and think, whoa, he thought of something so outside of the box to make his show stand out. And I want people to be motivated and inspired by that. And so that's a big one for me on the show. I want people to look at it and say, wow, he doesn't have a producer. He doesn't have an editor. He doesn't have a network. He doesn't have any of that. He doesn't have virality. And yet he did that. Why are we waiting until we blow up to do something like merch or to pursue bigger guests? Why are we doing that? I want people to question themselves when they see me, my show, and my vinyl record collections. I want them to think, why are we waiting to blow up to be able to do something like that? Don't fucking wait. Timing is never going to be perfect and it's never going to be on your side, so you might as well just do it, okay? Now, I wish I would have heard that for myself a year ago, but it's okay. I got there on my own, so take it from me, okay? The next one I have is proof that podcasting is a creative outlet too. There's an art that goes into my show and how I conduct interviews, how I come up with segments and questions, and this is a representation of that. Whoa, I cannot even believe I journaled that because it's so spot on to how I feel about these vinyls. I feel like my show alone is proof of that, right? The way I am inspired by the people that I collaborate with is a form of art on its own. And so these vinyls represent that. I want people to see that as a podcaster, you're not just a podcaster, you're a creative being too. At least that's the standard I hold myself to. When I go into interviews, I don't just ask those basic questions. It's one of the reasons why that premise of the show, asking guest questions that they've never been asked before on record, truly took its birth on its own because I had to figure out a way to keep standing out. I didn't want a guest to come on, specifically those who have done interviews for over 20, 30 years, to be like, damn, really? You asked me about that once again? After all these interviews, you had one chance and that's what you came up with? And so that push really led me to think outside of the box. And so I think that there's a common theme there, thinking outside of the box. And so that's part of my groundwork, you guys, is having to figure out ways to stand out because I'm literally elbowing my way through into an industry that a lot of people are going to think he has no business entering, right? I'm not a journalist. I'm not a social media influencer. What the fuck am I doing conducting interviews on a podcast show? People are going to think that. And now they're also going to be like, why is he dropping merch? He's not even famous. Why is he doing something like a vinyl collection? That's such a dumb idea. That is why, because I want people to see me as proof that I didn't have to be those things in order to do it. And you don't either. I want people to know that they can be small and stand out. I want people to know that all the roadblocks we place in our heads aren't as big as we make them out to be. Talking about how I came up with this idea in October of 2024 and just now in the middle of August of 2025 finally launching this is just proof of that on its own. And now don't get me wrong, okay? This project came with a lot of roadblocks, right? A lot of setbacks. Had to rework the cover art. I decided to take certain clips out of the final project. These are all roadblocks that happened that obviously played a factor into why I stalled so much, but I'm not going to sit here and negate the fact that a lot of the stalling came from my fear of doing this in front of everyone and announcing it and it being the biggest flop of my life. So even though some roadblocks were so valid into why it took so long to do this, some roadblocks were non-existent. They were truly in my head. Stop doing that to yourselves. Take it from me, and I'm sure that telling you to take it from me, it just means that you're going to have to learn that on your own, and that's okay too. But just know that that little voice of you hearing it is going to come in handy one day. Journaling these things and saying them out loud, it's so crazy, and thank you so much for letting me share it with you because this is so vulnerable for me. This is so transparent and so honest, and I take pride in being those things, but sometimes even at the scariest, we tend to hide a little bit, and so with these notes, with this project, I'm not hiding anymore. We're making this shit happen. I have come to the realization that I will not let anything stand in my fucking way. If I want to pursue anything creatively with the show, without the show, I'm gonna fucking do it because at the end of the day, what do you have to lose? I have nothing to lose. This is what commitment looks like. And listen, I'm yet to have my big break, but I've had other breaks on the way. Here I am almost 2 years later and I've yet to miss a fucking Monday. I still have guests that are wanting to come on the show, guests that are being pitched to me, guests that I am having a difficult time agreeing to, because if I agree to all of them today in August, I've got episodes that are going to be running all the way through to December. And now I'm learning that those are really good blessings to have. It's also just a really good reminder of what consistency can get you. I still feel like I'm a nobody at times, but then I have those moments of realization where I'm like, damn, I am small, but people are dying to come onto my small platform and be a part of it. And I think that is the coolest thing ever. And it's only going to continue to go up from here. Stay tuned for everything else that's going to be coming out with Unshut. You guys, when I tell you this episode means we are officially hitting the fucking ground running, we are hitting the ground running, okay? Bigger announcement coming very soon. We are changing the way podcasts are done, specifically those that are solo and small, just like me. Stay tuned, whether you've been here from day one or brand new. I am so grateful that you are here. Thanks for hanging out with me this week. And next week, we continue to roll out episodes with my next wave of guests. And I can't wait for you guys to keep tuning in. See you all next week. Have a great rest of your day. Hey, if you've made it this far, don't forget to follow the socials on the screen or in the description below. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel. See you next week.